Hello guys, Garcia here. This is part 10 of our Castlevania Curse of Darkness playthrough. So, we are here in Cordova town, in that really small section, the only B1 section in this map here. If you guys remember, this is the section in which there's a bunch of those thieves, the little goblins or demons that run around with the sacks, stealing your stuff. So, we are here because today we will be farming. So today will be farm day. So I was pondering about doing all of the farming off screen. I told you guys this several times during the playthrough. But I thought a lot about it, and one of the most interesting aspects, if not the most interesting aspect about the entire Innocent Devil system here is the ability to gather the gems that you want and then see what you will eventually end up with. Basically, you can choose how you are going to evolve them. And so I thought it would be interesting to do it alongside you guys, so you could see every step of the way, all the different levels of the familiar, and all the different versions and different skills that we can get, you know. So for that, what I did was I just stored all of my main familiars with Julia. So right here I only have the level 1s of each of the other 3. I don't think I got an egg for the mage yet. He's already level 25, by the way, so he's getting a lot of XP because I am equipping the brooch here. And the brooch, I'm going to show you guys. Wearing this, all experience earned will go to your Innocent Devil, so that's the idea. So I'm going to stay level 30 all of the time here. So first, the plan is to finish our mage here. So on the way, because I had to walk a little bit because the teleporter is like right here. So on the way to this particular spot here, the mage actually leveled up. So he's not I think it was called wood something. Wood rod, there you go. Now he's a scissor rod. So I'm going to keep leveling him up with the sword. And we'll see what we are going to get. He already got an extra skill, which is Floating Bee, which is basically a bunch of flying fiery balls that circle your character. I'm going to show you guys here. That's it. You don't float. The balls float. It's basically a whole lot of nothing, to be honest. Other than time stop, the other two are not that amazing. So that's the plan for today. So we'll just farm here with all of our 3 newly acquired familiars. So we can see here together what we are going to get. And also, since all of the XP are going towards our familiars, not only will we level them up and evolve them, but they will also be perfectly useful in the part of the game we already are. So if we need them in a boss or something, we can use them because they will level up constantly here. As far as I've seen in the castle so far, this is the best spot to farm. There's that other spot in I think it was like Forest of Gigromant here. One of these areas, right here. Yeah, this final X here, the leftmost X here, is an area where there's a lot of mages and undead enemies. Trouble is, I tried before during the playthrough, and if you saw that particular episode, you'll know that bringing level 1 familiars there is just a auto kill. They will die instantly. They just can't deal with that place. So this is a way better spot to farm, simply because the enemies here are basically harmless for the most part. And they also spawn constantly. So it's just a way better spot to farm. And it's also safer for me, because I don't need to worry all that much, because the worst that they can do here is to lunge towards me and give me very small damage and steal my stuff. But if I kill them, I can get it back, so Nothing too complicated. So it should be pretty easy. And also, they do give a decent amount of XP. I was checking earlier with the mage here. And the mage actually gets 200 to 300 for each kill, which is actually a lot. I'm going to show you guys here. So he has 42,000. So if by killing 5 I get like 1,000, you can see how that is a pretty good amount for the place we are in the game right now. And this will also give us an opportunity to actually check the new swords, new shields, new swords, use the lance finally, use some special weapons like the bat, things like that, because we are going to need to access different parts of the chart, the evolution chart, you know. So the idea of like kind of stopping the playthrough right now to farm is basically we've been like finding a lot of like secret spots, but we unfortunately cannot open like basically any of them because the places in the chart that we ended up with our first familiars are just not the places we needed to be for our familiars to get the particular skills we need for the passages we are encountering lately. And eventually I'm going to have to do this anyway. So I decided to just take one of the episodes just to do this. I thought of many ways to do this. I thought of like just showing the evolutions or just showing you guys screenshots or just straight up showing just the final result, you know. But I don't like doing that kind of stuff, you know. I would rather record it, even if it's not like the most exciting content ever. Okay, so our mage here is already at 46. We need 70. Okay. One thing we can also do to spice it up, outside here there's also a bunch of enemies. So I can kill a few of these and then go back inside and kill the rogues again. These are slightly more annoying, obviously, but at least keeps the flow going here. And maybe not the big ones. These guys can be very annoying, but the good thing is that they obviously give me way more XP than the regular ones. These rogues right here. But I'm getting lucky with the crystals. The first few that I killed here, I didn't get any crystals, so that's actually reasonable. So while we are killing the enemies here, I was playing a game I never played today, which is called Master of Orion. It's kind of a remake slash reimagining of a classic game of the same name. And when I say classic, I do mean like very, very old, like probably DOS game. I'm not exactly sure. It's a 4X space exploration game. Sorcery Flame. Let's see. Whoa. Now that's cool. That one definitely might open a passage or two. Like some vines or like a tree or something. We'll see. So I was playing Master of Orion. I love 4X games. Civilization 5. Oh, Civilization 5. Civilization, the entire series is basically my favorite series of all. I like the Final Fantasy series, I like the Resident Evil series and all that stuff. But if I'm forced to choose one, then it's easy. Civilization, all the way. This year alone, I was counting, and I actually have put like more than 200 hours in Civ 6 just this year. That's kind of crazy. And I also play a lot of Civ 5 because of the Vox Populi mod. So I always play modded versions. So I probably drop like at least 100 hours in that one too. The main problem with killing the enemies up here is that they might kill the familiars, because they won't be strong, the next ones. This one is fine, obviously. He's at a very high level already. He's probably already pretty close. Yeah. So I was playing Master of Orion, and it's a very interesting game. It's basically a Civilization on space. It's very simple. It's not a complicated game at all. As you know, with like space and scientific-based games, they go crazy with the sciencey, geeky stuff. So a lot of like plasma and like a lot of like physical concepts that we discuss as like future tech today. Obviously, like propulsion and light speed and things of that nature. So the game is full of that. The game also has a special combat section. So what happens is when you fight, it's not like in Civilization when you see the units just fighting each other on the same map that you play. You go to like a special instance and you kind of fight in like a spatial arena, so to speak. So it's very interesting. I'm not good at that part. I'm good at the strategy part. But for people that enjoy that type of stuff, it's a very, very interesting, visually speaking game. Ogre Rod. Such a weird thing. Ogre Rod, what the hell does that mean? Okay. Alright, so the idea of the game is the same as basically most 4X's games. Most 4X's games are basically Civ copies, right? With a few notable exceptions, but so there's like 5 victory types and all that stuff. There's diplomacy, there's colony building. Colony are the cities, basically. There's a lot of different leaders. I like that a lot. I didn't count, but I think there's like at least like 15 or 18 different leaders, which is a lot for this type of game. You can like choose to play in a spiral galaxy, in a cluster of galaxies or solar systems, and in a circular galaxy, which is basically the Pangea map but in space. You know what I mean? So you constantly fight like gigantic, like Lovecraftian space beasts. Like there's like a giant squid, a giant amoeba, and things of that nature. And you can also fight space pirates. So you need to do everything basically. It's one of those games that you can't ignore an aspect of it. You can totally play a Civ peaceful game and win easily. But you need units, so this is the same thing. You don't need to go to war with everybody, but you certainly are going to need units to defend yourself from the pirates and the huge monsters. And obviously, there's also the interactions with the different civilizations. So, and also all of them are all the leaders are voice acted. And all of them are like from like different races. So you have like some dudes that look like squids, then other dudes that like they are literally called like the Gnolls. So they look like Gnolls, the creature from the D&D game. So I highly recommend it. It's not like incredibly complex or anything like that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But if you like Civ, it's just Civ on space. But then you might think, what about Beyond Earth? What about the actual Civ on space? Well, Beyond Earth is kind of a... how should I say? When I play Civilization Beyond Earth, I always feel lonely. It's kind of a... I'm not going to go as far as to say that it's a soulless game, but it feels empty. I don't... I start playing it, I don't feel the need to continue. I don't care about seeing my empire grow and all that stuff. Because when you play Civ, you start the ancient era, so you start with basically nothing until you reach the future, right? But in Beyond Earth, you are already at the future, so you know. Agnia. Let's check what this is. Oh, there's a plus sign. Is that an electrical? Yes. Whoa, that's actually a really good one. Or not. I need to actually... Yeah, I need to aim. That doesn't seem like the best way to do this. Okay. Wait. Chart. Alright, so that's enough of him for now. So let's summon the other ones. As I told you guys before, the reason why I was pondering doing this off camera is because it's going to take forever. And it is. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start leveling up the other ones so we can see the early evolutions of the other ones. And probably in like the next episode, we are going to see the final ones. So, let's summon... Let's start with the Golem. Was the first one that I evolved anyway. They are going to gain levels here extremely quickly because all the XP is going to them. I just hope he doesn't die here. I really do. Oh yeah, I need to switch weapons. I forgot about that. So in this case, I'm going to use either an axe, a spear, or a knuckle weapon. Let's actually use a knuckle weapon. We haven't used this type of weapon before. Iron Shell Fists. Is this the best one I have? Yes. Oh, Vega. See? Oh, the square combo is already good enough. I don't even need to press triangle. After you get used to seeing the red gems, when you start seeing the yellow gems, it's just so crazy. Talking about Space 4X's, I also played Galactic Civilizations, but I didn't like that one a whole lot. I had a few bugs when I was playing. The types of bugs I hate the most are bugs in like complex games that you need to spend a lot of time doing something and then it bugs out, you know? Like a 4X game, you are playing with your civilization for like 10 hours and then in hour 11 something happens and it locks you off from the rest of the game or something like that, you know? Or you lose a unit for some stupid reason. So that was happening a lot actually. So I decided to give up. The only other big one that I didn't play that's like a space-based one is Stellaris, which I'm probably going to play after I finish up my playthrough of Master of Orion. Okay. That combo is actually very interesting, the way he sets up the attacks. Because it looks like he's going to move, but he stays in the same place. It's kind of a weird... It's hard to explain. Only playing this game would understand what I'm talking about. That's the one attack that causes damage to us. So as I told you guys before, I don't have problem doing this, farming. Mainly because I played World of Warcraft for like 15 years. And theoretically I'm still playing, I never like stopped. I just take long breaks, you know what I mean? But in that game, it's all about farming. There's bosses that I killed like 200 times to get a mount and I never got it. Our golem is not ready for this section here, so let's keep fighting inside. So that game made me like appreciate the mundane tasks. I'm talking here constantly just to keep you guys entertained. So might as well talk about some other games. So I played with a paladin, a retribution paladin, which is by itself a joke, right? It's the most joked about class in the game. Because it's the simplest class in the game, the most like beginner friendly class in basically any expansion. No class is easier to play. Maybe like a few of the healers are easier to play, but responsibility wise, definitely a DPS retribution paladin is easily the most meme worthy class. It's for sure the class that has the most noobs playing it, you know. Not only noobs like in not being able to be good, but noob in the sense that they are new to the game. That's the easier class to master. So I would walk around the world, farming old dungeons, farming old raids. I actually play the game mostly solo. The group content that I like the most is dungeons. As a healer, not as a DPS, I like to heal in dungeons. I don't like raids all that much because every time that you involve a lot of people, that means that a lot of things can go wrong. People can disconnect, people start fighting when they are wiping raids, which I don't care a whole lot about. You know, I'm very peaceful. I never ever, not even once, like cursed at anybody play World of Warcraft. And I know I'm the exception of the rule. But I don't understand like fighting over like bits of data on a screen with somebody else, you know? I don't understand that idea. It's like people that play MOBAs. Anything from like League of Legends to Heroes of the Storm to any of those types of games, Dota. It's probably the type of game that I played to this day that there's like the biggest amount of people fighting each other for no reason, blaming each other for losses and things of that nature. And what I always say to people in those games that are really mad is like, if you are playing a game that's like that there's like a 50% chance of you losing every match because it's not based only on you, even if you're like the best player in the world, you are going to get 4 other random people if you're not playing like pre-made or something. So if you don't accept that possibility before starting to play the game, you shouldn't play this type of game. Period. Like if you hate losing and you can't deal with losing, you should never play like, for example, a card game like Hearthstone or Magic or any of the other ones. Because you'll never ever be able to, you know, remove that possibility from the game and have a perfect game. You'll never win like 50 Hearthstone matches in a row. You'll never ever win like 40 Dota games in a row. That's never gonna happen. You will lose, you know. And sometimes it is your fault, even if you're like a super great player, which is not my case at all. So I'm always ready for the possibility, you know. But the problem with MOBAs is like 5 minutes in, you can already see if you are going to win or lose for the most part. In most MOBAs, that pretty early on you can notice. That's why they like deal punishments to people that abandon early. Because it's a game that you notice right away if you are going to win or lose. I never quit. I've never like gave up on a match, ever. I don't understand the concept because, as I said before, I fully accept the fact that I'm going to lose. Depending on the game, I will lose more than I will win. Like for example, Hearthstone. I played Hearthstone for like... I played for like 4 years, then I skipped a year, then I played until like the last year, 2022, then I took a break again, so maybe next year I'll go back. And I never spent a single dollar in the game, not even once. So I always played as a free-to-play player. I have no problem with people that buy cards, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't buy them, you know. I like the challenge of having few cards and trying to build a deck with what you have, you know. But every time like I got mad because I lost like a rough game or I lost like 3-4 games in a row, I would simply stop playing and then go back and play again the next day, you know, just cool off. And there's always those guys that like, they ask you for, they give you a friend request and they open chat with you just to tell you how lucky you were that you were able to beat them, you know, because they are so good that you need to be lucky to defeat them somehow. That's so cool, man. Speed mail. That looks amazing. Whoa, he's completely different. My god. That looks so amazing. I was going to switch to the next one, but I kind of want to see the evolution of this guy. Let's see how many crystals we need. Oh no. Now we need to go full on the whole 90. But that's very cool. My god. That really is very cool. This is the coolest one so far, easily. And the good thing is that because it's level 22, that means I can actually use him in normal gameplay. So maybe I don't even need to like level him up completely here. I'm going to play with him a little bit more because I need to unlock his skill. But then we'll switch to the fairy. Do the crystals despawn? I actually don't know. Man, he's very aggressive. Whoa. He's the best one, easily, so far. No contest. But as I was saying before, so you should never play a game if you... a competitive game if you can't accept defeat, or if you always blame somebody else for your losses, you know. You think you are the number one in the world. Now I'm going to give you another example. I love RTS games, so Age of Empires, Warcraft 3, what else? Age of Mythology, StarCraft, all those games, especially the older ones from like the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s. I love those games, but I suck balls at all of them. I am terrible at RTSs. I only play RTSs that I can pause the game. I never play competitively, that's impossible. I am way too slow. Even like I know what I'm doing, theoretically, when I start playing competitive games, I draw blanks, I start forgetting what I'm doing, where I am. And you just can't behave like that in the game. You will lose, you know, 100%. So I simply avoid it, you know. Even though competitive games can be fun, I usually just play against the computer. No problem, you know. I don't care a whole lot. For example, Age of Empires, the thing I like to do the most is actually create a coherent like civilization. Create a nice castle, surround everything with like a good wall, like a great wall and all that stuff. I like going for like the peaceful winning conditions, like gathering the relics and things of that nature. I avoid war. I only use war to defend. Buying the what is that thing called? The wonders. Been a long time since I played, but as I said, I suck at them. So I understand that if I were to play competitively, I would lose and it would be my fault. Always, even if I'm playing like team versus team. So I play the game, I find the game fun, heavily sword. But I will probably lose while playing, you know? So you need to accept it. Oh, heavily sword, let's see. Oh, interesting. So it does exactly what the name of the skill says. Alright. So let's switch. So he's level 24, so he should be absolutely usable. So we'll be using him probably in the next episode. So now let's switch to the fairy. Sarah? The fire is going to be the easiest one because she's just going to stand around. Let's see in the chart what we need to do here. So let's probably go to the right here. So I'm going to use, let's try to use a special weapon now. Let's see which ones we have here. First, let's see these combinations here. This one, I need Spirit of Fuji, always. The Spirit of Fuji always gets me here. Oh sure. So I can finally make this one. Hide armor, awesome. That's probably the worst thing I could ever done here. Eastern armor and a half plate. I already did this one, I think. I'm pretty sure I did this one. I can't do it anyway, so whatever. Alright, so let's see which special weapons we have here. So we have the bat, we have that crazy shield. The shield might be decent here, but not amazing. Let's try the bat.
Yeah.
The problem with the special weapons is that they don't have a combo, as far as I know. So yeah, we need to use other weapons here. Those are cool, but they actually suck to play with. So let's try the spears. I actually have a bunch of decent spears here. I just haven't been using them. So long spear is probably my best one here so far. Dung. Yeah. Actually, let me check. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of spears apparently. This one I need to avoid. It's not going to help us here. Oh, that's actually great. It gets basically all of them. The only problem is when he's like putting the spear back in his back. Back in his back. The animation plays and it takes a while. That said, if the enemy hits me, it resets the animation. So that actually is going to help me. Okay, so let's play with... I'm using just the square combo. It's decent enough. I don't think I need the triangle combos. I don't need to move around much. So talking about games, completely random. Last week I was playing Granny. So you're like, Granny, what the hell is that? It was one of those end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s DOS games? No. Granny is like a horror slash puzzle game that was first published for smartphones, I think. It was a cell phone game. And then they just brought it to PC. So basically the idea of the game is you are like going to a house at night and you are bumped in the head by a very like decrepit old lady. And when I say decrepit, I don't say like she's really old. I mean she's like basically an undead lady. She's a monster, but she's a grandmother. So that's where the Granny name comes from, obviously. So she basically kidnaps you, brings you to her home, and puts you in a room, and then you have 5 days to escape. That's basically it. So wake up in a room, you get up from your bed, you get a flashlight, and that's it. So the idea of the game is it's kind of a like condensed Resident Evil game, like the first 3. So you need to find an item. That item opens, for example, you can use the screwdriver to open a place, to get a key that opens another place, to get a gear that you can use in a different place, and so on. So it's like an item gathering type of game. But you need to do all of that while hiding or using weapons to defeat Granny. But you never defeat her. You can only like make her go away for like a minute, then she comes back, and if she comes back and sees you, she starts chasing you. And if she gets you, you lose a day. So you get bumped in the head, And if you lose 5 days, it's game over. So you have 5 days to find your way around the house. It's a very, very fun game. As far as I know, there's a lot of randomness to the game. So I think they have like presets where the items could be. But I think there's items that mostly are basically always random. So every time you start a playthrough of Granny, you are playing a different game, basically. So, for example, in one playthrough you open like a closet and there's like a key there. In the other one there's nothing. And in the other one the screwdriver's there, or the wrench, or the car key. So it's always different, you know. And the idea of the Granny game basically is to skip the house. So if you are going to skip the house, you need methods of escaping. The first Granny has 3 methods of escaping. So you can leave through the front door, you can leave through the sewers, and you can also leave through the garage. So you need to fix the car. So you need to assemble like gasoline, the battery, spark plug, car key, and all that stuff. So you can finally leave, you know. So not only every Granny game is different, but every escape that you are going to perform is different, because obviously you're going to prioritize the escape for which you have the most amount of items, right? So I have most of the items that I need for the car escape. So I'm going to focus on that and so on, you know. So it's a very interesting game. It's less of a horror game, more of a horror adjacent game, like a action / puzzle game that has some horror elements to it. But it's a very high octane game because you need to be on your toes constantly, because you need to move around the house to assemble the items. But you also don't want to meet Grandma, but she is around and you will meet her constantly. There's like creaking floors in the house. So if you drop any items or if you step on the creaking floors, Granny will hear you and will come to wherever you are in the house. The house is huge. There's like underground sections, there's older sections, there are several floors, and so on. So, and that's only the first one. In the second one, the house is slightly smaller, but there's Grandpa. So now it's Granny and Grandpa, so you need to deal with 2 enemies. And Grandpa doesn't hear very well, so you need to avoid him seeing you, but he won't listen if you drop an item in the floor. But Grandma does. So they have like different ways that you need to deal with both of them. So it's very interesting. And in the third one, there's Granny, there's Grandpa, and there's also a ghost that is called Slendrina. There's like a lore for the Granny games, but I don't know the lore, so I'm not going to even like speculate what the lore is. But I think Slendrina is either her, either their granddaughter, maybe her daughter, their daughter, or something like that. I'm not so sure. I'm pretty sure it's like a former family member that died, but I don't know why. So if you never played or never heard of Granny before, I 100% recommend it. Even if you're one of those people that hate like jump scares or horror games, it's a very, very fun game, really fun. There's no game like it, really. All the other ones that are kind of similar, they either go too much on the jump scare / horror part, or they are just basically non-horror games, so they harvest. So they don't exactly like are able to give you what Granny gives you, you know? So it's a very fun game, it's a very fun franchise. There's 3 games. I think they are working on the next one, I think. They were available on Steam, Then I think last year, or in the beginning of this year, they were removed from Steam for some reason. But they are back. So you can totally check them out. They are really like inexpensive games, like $5-10. So it's really worth it. Only thing that might be a problem now that I'm thinking of it, I think the Granny games are Unity-based games. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they are. If they are, this might be a problem. I don't know if you guys saw this, I think this week. The Unity CEO, the guys that create the Unity engine, they will start basically asking for money based on the amount of downloads that a title created by developers get. So they are basically asking for money back now. So that's going to create a whole lot of problems because a lot of people use the Unity engine to create games. So if Granny is a Unity game, there might be some problems regarding the Unity engine use. Antidote is a skill that our other fairy also had, I think. So I am where I am. This is Herbus. This is the one we have. So we actually, we cannot use a spear. Oh, I see. So for her, we will use something different. So now, actually, let's play with her a little bit more. I need to see what's her new skill. So let me check the chart. So I need to use, let's use an axe this time. Let's check it out here. Oh, let's use the scythe. Really solid. So let's give her time for her to give us a new skill. Then we'll switch to the flying one. Okay. Oh, the square combo for this weapon is excellent. It's very simple. Hector basically doesn't even move, he just goes forward. So it's very easy to land the attacks, you know. If the enemies don't move too much. So basically all the familiars will be at like level 20 something, which means that I'm going to be able to use all of them during regular playthrough. So that means I won't be needing to farm anymore for these particular familiars that I'm leveling. So that's actually really good. Because as I said, I don't have a problem with farming, but that's obviously not amazing content for the channel, you know what I mean? Okay. I also been thinking we are like in September, so next month is obviously Halloween month. So I was thinking about bringing some horror games to the channel, maybe even Granny. But I was thinking about some PS2 horror games. I have a few that I would like to play, like either Silent Hill or Obscure, which is amazing. Fatal Frame, Clock Tower. There's a bunch of good horror games for the PS2. PS2 has a bunch of good games for all genres. To me, it's the best console ever made, period. Just in terms of the amount of groundbreaking stuff it had on it back in the day. Resident Evil 4 is already on the channel, but Resident Evil 4 is not really a horror game, right? So there's a bunch of games I would like to bring to the channel. So I need to think a whole lot about it. And I'm also thinking about doing some full playthroughs. Like single episode, like 2-3 hours, you know. But just for like very small games, obviously. I'm not going to do like a full playthrough for like 7 hours or something. I can't speak for 7 hours, first and foremost. Second, the file is going to be gigantic and my internet is not amazing. so it would be a nightmare to upload. And usually I enjoy longer games anyway. Alright, so she's taking forever to give us the new skill, so I'm going to just summon the next dude. But we can use her, so no problem. This one I named. She was named like Matthew II because that's the name of my main bird familiar. But I decided to just name her Ellie, because why not? And let's check the chart. So we are going to go in the other direction here. So I need to use spear, punch, or special. So let's go back to the spear. Spear, I was enjoying it quite a lot. The damage is not that high, but the combo is amazing. I was thinking about the full playthroughs because my first console was actually the Master System, and then the Super Nintendo, and then I played a lot of Nintendo 64, but I didn't had the console. A store that I would visit like every weekend had it, and we paid like 50 cents to play 1 hour every week, you know. I would play like Mario Kart, Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm confusing my fighting games, but I'm pretty sure we would play Killer Instinct. And the one we played the most was actually GoldenEye 007. The Pierce Brosnan one, the classic game for 64. So after that I got a PS1, and then later I got a PS2. That was my last console. Now I only play on PC and with the emulators. I have most of the games I play anyway, so it's fine. Like Curse of Darkness, for example, I have it here. I have Lament of Innocence 2, the other Castlevania for the PS2. So because I started with the Master System, I was thinking about playing some old Master System games for like one episode, like a full playthrough. So I had Ghostbusters, I had Alex Kidd, I had Asterix and Obelix, I had Sonic Spinball. I didn't had a lot of games. I would usually either rent some games from a video store that also rented games for us, or I would get from a buddy of mine that also had a Master System, and he used to buy a lot of games. So I played a lot of Master System games, and actually there wasn't a whole lot of games for that particular system, but the little that there was, I played most of them. To this day, it was one of my favorite consoles. I always have the emulator installed just to like go down the memory lane sometimes. And those games are quite short, you know. All of them are like 1.5 hours, 2 hours. There's a bunch of games that are like even less than an hour, you know. And those games were brutally difficult. Like, I'm not saying like Dark Souls difficult. I'm saying like you only have like 3 lives for the entire game, and you can never get hit once, for example. There's that type of game, you know. And also, remember, I'm not a native speaker, so now I understand English pretty well. Back then I didn't. So playing like Alex Kidd, for example, was very hard to understand what to do next. There was one Alex Kidd from the Master System that was basically like an RPG game, and you needed to like explore a castle and all that stuff. Not a castle, a big like Japanese house. One of those daimyo houses. And you needed to write down a bunch of like clues and hints. And obviously, without understanding the language, it's just brutal. That said, I also finished Eye of the Beholder without being great at English regardless, and Eye of the Beholder is way harder than anything ever produced for Master System. So it depends, you know. Okay. So we should be very close now. 22. We need 40. Yeah. Halfway done. Man, the brooch is basically the best item we've got so far in the game. That makes leveling up the familiars way easier. Because they don't give you like extra crystals. There might be an item that does that. But what they do give you, the entire XP gains going to the familiar, makes them instantly playable, you know? You just come here, play for like 10 minutes, and then you can already go back to the regular game with your new familiar and level him up with a different, in a different position in the chart, you know what I mean? It's very convenient. I like the knockback a lot. The fact that they just go flying when you hit them with this attacker. Reminds me of Samurai Warriors, you know? Good memories. All other games that I always think about bringing to the channel are like the Final Fantasy games, Chrono Cross, just like long RPGs, you know? Problem is, this game right here is already kind of long. Way longer than the average. And I started the channel with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which was like 20 something chapters, episodes, I mean. And I'm already playing Oblivion, which will stay on the channel basically forever because I'm only at like episode 11. I haven't done a single quest in the game yet. Not even a single quest. And we already like 12 hours in. More than 12 hours in. So it's kind of crazy. Very funny. Goldfinch. Looks kind of cool. Kind of festive. So let's hang around with him a little bit to see what's the new skill. Actually, since we are pretty much done in terms of what we need to do today. I wasn't obviously thinking that we would be able to level up everybody in the same day or in the same like episode. 1 hour is just not enough. But I accomplished the main goal, which was to level them up into like a decent level that allows us to take them with us around the castle. You know, we don't need to stay here farming forever. Oh, actually, I need to check the chart to see if I can switch weapons here. Yeah, actually I can. So I can use basically anything. Yeah, I can use anything. So I'm just gonna get my original sword. Actually, no, I'm going to use this. I'm enjoying this so much. It's way more powerful than my sword anyway. So now that he's already fine, let's actually start killing the enemies that we need to kill to go back to where we came from. Obviously I can use the magical ticket to go back to Julia, but then I won't be farming, so what's the point, right? Oh, he cannot take that attack. What's that money? Is that the bird? He's the one doing this? Oh yeah, he is. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh, I don't want to level up this guy. He gives me gold, man. That's very interesting. I was like, where is all this gold coming from? Turns out it's probably his skill. Well, his name is Goldfinch. So yeah, but only because he has like gold in the name, I wasn't thinking that he was going to actually drop gold, you know. Yeah, these annoying enemies I'm just not going to kill. They are way too annoying. Let's just go. Because they are in the stairs. In the stairs, the advantage is completely theirs. And there he goes, dropping more coins. So maybe this is the familiar to farm with gold. Maybe at higher levels he drops better coins. This is the type of game that the more you farm, the better off you're going to be, you know? Oh, actually I need to remove the brooch. If I'm going to continue adventuring normally, I need the XP too, right? He's still going to get XP, he's just going to have to give me some. Where's the guy, my guy? Oh. This place. Oh, that was a perfect guard there. But let me tell you, the blocking in this game is so overpowered. You can actually block fire. How? I have no idea. But my man Hector, very skilled dude. This is the one that gives us gold. We steal. Oh. Well, whatever. I forgot this locked on. I can't move the camera. White steel. The one thing I don't like is that Hector never changes appearance. I wish the armors, the equipment was visible. That said, this game is based on Symphony of the Night, and Alucard also doesn't change appearance, other than like the cloaks, right? You can use like some extreme things like the Axe-Lord armor, but not like regular equipment. It doesn't show, you know. Would be cool, but at the same time, his look is so iconic in that game that maybe it was for the best that it wasn't possible. And it's also a Japanese thing too, because you think about like all the Final Fantasy games, for example, for the most part, especially the classical ones for the PS1. Those games, the characters always look the same. Even though you like giving them better and better equipment with like crazier and crazier effects, they look the same, always. Final Fantasy is actually a terrible example because that was like Waka. Waka was like using a blitz ball to hit enemies. He was literally like throwing balls at dragons, you know? And it worked, so it's not a good example at all. Yeah, he's not getting the new skill, or maybe the skill is this passive ability to drop gold. Let's see. No. Yeah, we're almost there. Oh, chill. Well, this is a very bad combo. He locks me in place. Oh, that's very good. So I can't interrupt the combo to dodge. I'm enjoying this weapon more and more as time progresses here. It's really good. Oh, this is one of the places we can't open. Or maybe you can and I don't know how. Let's never discount the possibility. So, alright. All of our familiars are 23, 24. So I usually don't use their skills while fighting anyway, other than like the fairy. So hopefully she can get like heal level 2 or something like that, just to help me out a little bit. Oh hey, there's also this guy here. I probably should play with him for now, just to max him out and maybe get a shard. but for him I'm going to need the sword. So let me get the sword back here. There you go. So there you go. We are all set up with our familiars here. I apologize for the simplistic episode this time around, but something that I really needed to do. And I would rather do it during the regular playthrough, so you guys could see the evolutions and all that stuff. So that's it, guys. So I'm going to go back here to Julia's shop here. I'm going to save, and then we are going to teleport back to the, what's the name of the place? The machine tower. We are here. So we are going to literally teleport and be like right there where we need to be to continue. We need to go back to, there's these entrances here, but that's subject for the next video. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.